And Centenario is a lot like the other places in the valley. It's very arid. I remember sending pictures home to my parents. I was like, this is my area, and it was like a dirt road that just went forever. It was like other dirt roads that branched off of it, and there were little shacks. In that area, there's lots of towns that are either petrolero, or they're kind of less rich. And what a petrolero is, it's like an oil worker. And so down there you'll have, down in the center of the city, kind of a richer, more urbanized area with like the shopping malls and little tiendas and stores and things. And the further out you go, and this is pretty similar in lots of areas, you'll get into, they're not really slums, but it's not developed. It's dirt roads, and then it's little wooden shacks or houses that people build themselves. And most of the time people, what they do for work is actually they're albañiles, which are like masons. They're bricklayers. And so they do construction, and that's a big thing there. And it's good because you can teach a lot of like parables with building foundations and walls and stuff like that. But in most of Neuquén and Centenario, that's what I experienced, is just poor people live humbly and they do construction. So there was this guy named Fabian, and Fabian Zuniga, and he is so awesome. He would help the missionaries out all the time. And I didn't know him super well. I mean, I couldn't speak Spanish. There was kind of like a barrier between us, and I didn't know, but he would love to work with the missionaries. And he served in Uruguay. He's about 35, I think. But he would always come out with us. He loved my companion, and he always has a missionary that he gets really close to. And so he and my companion were pretty close, and he came out with us a lot. We'd also eat lunch with him. He was a pastry chef. So we were always excited to go over to Fabian's house because he'd have like a nice cake or like a lemon pie ready for us. But there was lots of good stuff going on in Centenario when I was there. People were willing to help. Kind of ask them. You have to ask them a little bit. Don't be shy about it. But the members, they know that it's true, and so they want to be able to do their part for the most part. When I started in Centenario, that was kind of my first experience going to church in Argentina, and there were probably about 60 people there. It's a big ward, and there's lots of people on the ward roster, and so you work with less active members a lot and trying to help people strengthen their testimony. But there is a church building because they have a ward there, and so all the church buildings down there they're made of brick. They all look kind of alike, and people are like, "Wow, your churches all look the exact same." And you're like, "Well, you know where to find us." So that's down in there's a second part of the city which is across the street from the upper part of the city, I'd say. There's a big highway that passes through the middle of it. And so that's where the church building is. There's also a few little towns that are surrounding, like villas, little villages. But there were missionaries that would go visit there when we started getting more missionaries in the area too, and you have to split it up. I know they're really famous for apple orchards. They have a bunch of apple orchards out there, and that's a large part of the economy too, is people working down there. They have murals, like commemorating the apple and stuff like that. Everything is named manzana. Like a block in Argentina is called a manzana down in that part because it's just such a big part of their economy and everything. And so